Right, so this is an extremely quick example of using a .NET Blazor application with a Windows LXC container. So, first off we have a simple Blazor app, nothing much to it. We'll just add something in. You can see that it's bog standard. When it decides to run, there we go. No to it. There it is on localhost. We'll kill that, and then what we'll do is we'll just commit this. So made some big changes to the product. Commit that, and then push it to the origin master. There we go, all done. And now what we have here is just a bare metal Linux server. It's not running anything special, it's not running Hyper-V, it's not a virtualized instance. It is actually running on bare hardware, you can see there. So there's other things running on here too, but it isn't anything special. If I show the LSB release, you'll see it's just standard Ubuntu 20.04 in server mode. But what it does have installed is LXD, Linux containers. And with LXD installed using the snap version and a local, on command, no, do you know what? That has gone completely out of my head. Have we got an ifconfig on here? Yes, we have. There we go. As you can see, we've got a local bridge on here as well. And that is on 192.196 netmask 17. There is a DHCP range on 192.168.19. which has a whole class 24-bit mask on it, so there's 256 machines addresses available for machines. Now if we do an LXC list, you'll see that we have no virtual machines whatsoever, and what we have is we have this provisioning shell script. It's just a simple bash shell script. So if we just cut that out, you'll see that there really isn't a huge amount to it. It does an apt update, apt upgrade, installs some tools, installs .NET Core SDK and Apache 2 web server, sets Apache 2 up to do proxying. Then it grabs our basic Blazor server app, builds it, publishes it, pushes it into a folder for the web server, sets the user on it to match that of the web server. Then it writes out some configuration files, one for the web server there and one for the system service daemon. System D is a bit like the service control manager under Windows, and then it returns back. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to go LXC launch Ubuntu 20.04 and we're going to call it UB test 1. What this will do is this will create a virtual machine container. So it's not like Docker. Docker is a container in its own right. LXC is still a container, but it behaves and works more like a virtual machine. So if I now do an LXC list after creating that, you will see right here I now have this container running, and I can actually log into that container simply by doing this sudo /bin/bash, and there you go. You can see I'm in that container now. If I do an ifconfig on that, okay, IPA, there we go. You can see that standard Ethernet interface, there it is, 192.168.19.13, 192.168.19.13. If I use another machine, for example the Windows machine that I'm recording this on, ping 192.168.19.13, so it's reachable on the network because of the bridge that I already made. So there's none of this mucking about mapping ports and doing a Docker compose file or anything like that. As I said, this behaves pretty much like a virtual machine. There is nothing running on here, so there's no web server, no apps, no nothing. It's just a bare metal empty virtual container. So now what I can do is my provision script. I do apologise, I got to push that to it first. So where's the command to push it? In here somewhere, there we are. So I'll push my provisioning file to the LXC container, and you can see here, by the way, that I'm using the container name, so it doesn't matter what IP address this starts up on. As long as I know the name of the container, then it all just works. You know, obviously, I guess I can automate its MAC address so that it's guaranteed to get a particular IP address, or I can statically configure it. But that's a dynamic IP. It's spun up just like an Amazon Cloud instance, or similar. But as long as I know the name, I'm good. Once that's in there, I then need to execute that script. So where are we? There we are. So, oh, okay, so it's in there. Provision dnc.sh, and all I really need to do is just hit return there and let it get on with it. I'll go make myself a cup of coffee. This will take a few minutes to run. But you'll see if we bring a browser up, and just pop it over to there for the moment. Is it 192.168.19.13? So HTTP, because I haven't got a certificate installed yet. So that's running away there quite happily. I say it'll take a few minutes. There's the .NET Core getting added in. So we should at this point actually have it. Yep, so there Apache's on and running. So now that Apache's on and running, we've just got to wait for it to finish running the script, because what it will do is it will pull the sources for the app down, and it will build it. 48 meg, yep, so is that 3.1 or is that 5? That's 5, so it's .NET Core 5 that's just installed there. unpacking it all. Now just configuring it. You know what I mean? You can easily script this out using Jenkins as well. So you could run this entire single script on the back of a Jenkins instance. So Jenkins could sort of check a Git repository every few minutes or so, something like that, and then pull the code out, and instead of doing a Jenkins build job, just tell it to do an LXC launch and then run this script within that LXC container. There's .NET 5 installing, and that's done and set up. So now we're actually building the project. So you can see there that Git version control's just grabbed it, and now .NET 5's building it. And there it is, moving it into a public folder on the web server. And that's it. Everything's done. The service control manager is set up and all of that jazz. So if we just sort of pull this out a little bit and hit that, there we go. There's our Blazor server app. And yeah, simple as that. Nice and done. We're going to here. So Linux LXC list. There's our system still running, and if I go into the shell on that, there we go, /bin/bash, you can see that for example, Midnight Commander is now running on here. That was installed as part of the build. If we go into etc Apache 2, you'll see that the default site, there you go, there's your default, redirecting to port 5000, which is where the Blazor app is listening on. If we go into where is it? I'm going to procure system D folder. In the system, you will see that we have a service descriptor there. So that's the service descriptor that we embedded into our file, and you can see that the logs and that are set up, the app that's destined to run, there's the ASP.NET Core variables. So the environment is very, very much like a virtual machine. Only difference is, because it's a container, it runs very, very lightweight, and it runs on a standard kernel. There's no hypervisor. This will run on a standard laptop or a standard PC without virtualization capabilities. It will run on anything that a standard Ubuntu instance will run on. And there we go. Hope that was fairly useful.